Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today. I'm up above the cliffs in Corona del Mar. Beautiful day. Summer is definitely here, guys. But we've got major signs right now that point to a recession and things that just cannot be avoided. And this coming week, and as we end June, we're going to see these things become more prevalent in the coming weeks. I'm going to cover each of them for you. First things first, please don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Look at this, guys. Summer's here. Beach is packed. Packed. Got these beautiful houses up here. Just absolutely sold out show. So, that being said, with everything that's happening in the economy, there are certain signals that we get that worry, the economists and people that are concerned about banking, people that are concerned about securities, and just general people. Now, here's the first thing. Copper. Copper prices have dropped dramatically. And usually this means that it's a housing slump that's coming because copper is used so much in the construction industry. Now, in the last few years, we've learned so much that copper is used with all EV cars, and it's a great investment, and you just cannot get enough copper with the mining and with everything that we've talked about over the last 6 months, especially with Elon Musk and with everything that goes into making a Tesla and every other EV car that's out there. Now, the big problem is copper dropped 11% this week and is at one of its lowest levels in years, which points to construction slowing down, which is interesting because the one thing that I get people that write me from around the world right now telling me about different construction stories. NAS sent me a great story out of the Financial Times in the UK about the construction industry in the UK. And he said, Dan, you're absolutely right. This is what's happening with these construction companies is that they're going out of business. Now, here's the thing. There's a company called Midas in the UK. They do about 300 million pounds a year in business. $500 million in American money. These guys are going to have to fold up shop because they can't pay anybody. They've got 1,700 subcontractors that can't get paid. The problem isn't for lack of work. The problem is for the supply chain issue and getting everything completed, labor, and with getting paid from their projects as well. Which in construction, when you don't pay the subcontractors, think about this, 1,700 businesses. Now you can think of individuals, you can think of a guy that, one individual, he may be one sub, but you've got subcontractors in that list of 1,700 that they run a business. They've got employees, they've got staff, they've got materials, they've got everything they've got to pay for. They're done, guys. They're not going to be able to stay open. So this is going to be a cascading effect in the construction industry, but it's not just here in the States, it's around the world. And NAS brought up such a great article. Take a look at it out of the Financial Times. But man, this is going to be such a huge problem that no one is looking at. But again, people don't want to just sit there and say, Dan, you keep harping on recession. I'm harping on the fact that we're going to see an absolute economic collapse of business, the monetary system, everything. Grocery stores are going to be empty. You're going to see such a complete shutdown of everything. And this is where it starts. Now the next thing is the Purchasing Managers Index. That was announced this week. A lot of people don't even know what that is. That is a gauge for manufacturing and for how service companies are doing. And it's absolutely fallen off a cliff. Manufacturing, of course, manufacturing here in the States is ridiculous. We don't manufacture nearly enough of anything here in the States. But if you want to call us a service economy, that's great. But the service industry as a whole is falling off. And people are selling less and there's less services being used by people. Okay, so there's that. The next thing is gas prices. Now, people have written me and said, hey, great news, gas dropped 4 cents. Big deal. I just paid $7 for gas right now. I paid $6.90 for gas. Guys, it's not going down. You're going to see this thing catapult between now and 4th of July, and there's nothing you can do about it other than just buckle up and pay it. But this is going to destroy every aspect of vacationing this summer, because everything gets affected by gas prices. Delivery of food, delivery of services, people going to work, people going on vacation, travel, airfare. Airfare's up 40% right now, guys. 40%. If you get deals on airfare, lucky you. You're one of the rare ones right now, because it's so high right now that people are buying tickets so far in advance, with the hopes that they're going to save money, but they're also being stuck and said no refunds, nothing you can do. Now, speaking of that, I had somebody else write me in the kitchen business, and think about how bad this is. Folks, your kitchen will be done in 3 years. You will prepay 100% right now for everything. Okay, how do you do that? How do you prepay for construction costs, materials? Now, today, $40,000, $50,000, $75,000 for these kitchens, and they're going to be done in 3 years. Do you want to lose your spot in line? Talking about contractors that are going to go out of business, that are going to already have your money, it's crazy. Here in California, that's illegal. You can't do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, with people taking people's money and taking deposits and things like that for years of time. Years. Telling people it's going to take 3 years to get done for their kitchen remodel to get done. The problems that we're experiencing here in the States are global. That's what people don't get. People don't get that there's they don't want to talk about food shortages, but I'm getting pictures from all around the country, Florida, Michigan, everywhere. There's stores, Walmarts, different places that don't have food right now. Absolutely just compounding and getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And nobody wants to sit there and admit that. Okay, so there's that. Now, housing itself. This neighborhood, I love walking through this neighborhood, because there was that house I showed you when I said, this is it for real estate. I did this 2 months ago. Talked about Drake having a mortgage payment of $274,000 a month. There's a house around the corner up here that's $26 million that has not sold. They haven't lowered the price yet, but they did a complete reshoot on the house. Shot it at night, glowy little photos, things like that, to show this $26 million house. Now, again, I'm going to walk by this $26 million house. There's not an ounce of privacy at this place, and you've got a YouTuber with a camera walking by and hanging out. And the worst part about this neighborhood, it's beautiful. It's one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the state, is everybody comes out here and parks here and uses it on the weekends for the beach. Okay? So that's what you have. You don't have an ounce of privacy, and it's the parking lot to go to the beach. So, okay, check it out. Ocean Boulevard, guys. Just start with Ocean and Marguerite, okay, in Corona Del Mar, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So, the gas prices are not going to go down. The diesel problem that we have here, you're going to see diesel trucks, and I'm getting more information on this right now about how there's going to be, tens of thousands of diesel trucks that won't be able to operate near the port in the coming weeks. That being said, I'm going to look into that more. But also, we're on the verge of a potential strike at the local ports here. So if that happens, guys, you won't get anything. So, again, this is a big, look over here, guys. Look over here. Okay, see this? Yeah. Okay, why you don't have food in the grocery stores, why you don't have gas, the banking problems. I get people that write me and say, hey, Dan, when we were kids, banks were open, Monday through Fridays only, no Saturdays, and we didn't have ATMs. Okay, great. It's a digital age, guys. Okay? You also paid 69 cents a gallon for gas back then. Don't forget that. You remember when gas hit $1 and you freaked out? Yeah, those are the same people that don't, technology. I remember, I used to make a phone with my brother out of 2 tin cans and a string, okay? It was fun, it was entertaining, okay? And then they came up with this thing called the iPad, which is a lot more entertaining than that. Now the next thing is consumer sentiment. The University of Michigan came up with something called the Misery Index. And this tells you where the average person is at and how they feel about the economy and how they feel about spending, how they feel about their business, their job, everything. Consumer sentiment, how they feel about everything. This is at the lowest level ever. Since they kept this record since the 1960s when they made this thing up, this is the lowest level it's ever been. And it also went down in the last month, 17% in the last month. So, unbelievable, guys. If you don't think that that's a concern, you're kidding yourself. So, mortgage applications have dropped 50% in the last month. Why is that? Well, everything's great with housing. I mean, come on, guys, look at these people. Think about this. This house, this neighborhood, okay? This cat right here, he's spending huge money on his remodel. This place right here on the corner of, I'm on Ocean and Larkspur. This guy tore down a house that was $16 million, and he's rebuilding it. Something new, something nicer, okay? Because he's got serious money. There are people in this world that have tons of scratch, tons of money, and have nothing to worry about. But the rest of us, that are average, that have bought the average house, that have paid $500,000 for it, you're going to see these houses fall off the cliff in price. You're going to see interest rates go up to where the average person will not be able to afford it. I am getting email after email after email talking about how rents are going up. And, you have certain cities here in California that have, rent-controlled prices where they can't raise the rent too much. But really common, see 10% rent increase, really super common. But we're seeing 30 and 40%. But again, the landlords were sick of 2020. What can we do to stop this? Here's what you do. 60 days before the lease is up with these people, tell them the lease is done. Oh, you want to stay here? Okay, well, here's the new lease. It's the brand new lease. And they'll write it for $1,000 more. They'll do horrific things right now to get themselves more money. And every time I talk about this, landlords write me and say, Dan, you have no idea how bad it was. I don't. You're absolutely right. There's going to be a flood of evictions. Think about this, New York City and the New York Common area, all those areas, there's over 200,000 evictions that are pending right now to where the courts cannot handle them in any way, shape, or form. 200,000 eviction cases right now. So with the housing market, it is taking a turn right now that nobody wants to admit. Again, I have people that write me every day and tell me how stupid I am and that, you just want to see it crash. You just want to see it go. No, this is unbelievable. If you look at the story that's below about markets that were inflated as a result of the health crisis, it is staggering how they basically manipulated the banks, didn't want prices to go down, wanted to get more money, and basically got people into larger loans. It's crazy, but there's markets around the country, and I live in one of them, where they inflated these real estate prices. And again, guys, to have houses that are $1 million, that were tract houses that were $600,000 a year ago, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. And again, the $600,000 is like, gosh, would you live there for $600,000? Okay? People have to make those decisions. Now, the economist that stepped forward, James Doty, in Orange County, and talked about how we're going to see Orange County real estate drop off, 14, 16%, those numbers. Let's see if that happens, guys. But what's definitely happening is there's an economic slowdown. More lenders are firing people. And here's one thing that's funny. See, you guys think I bash Elon Musk all the time. I just think it's crazy that Elon Musk gets a free ride and all this government subsidies. As much as they hate him half the time, they give him all this free stuff that made his business possible, that if you had access to this, if you had access to the money, if you had access to subsidies and everything that he had, you'd be able to make things and do things. There's startups and biotech companies and med tech companies and different people that could go out there and create different things that would be amazing if they had all these government subsidies. So that being said, we've heard a lot about how companies are canceling their offers. They're make an employment offer. Hey, you're coming in, you go through all the security, you sign everything, and then these people go to show up for work and there's no job there. Now people are bashing Tesla for the same thing. Tesla's doing this, and there's a handful of people, 6, 8, 10. There's not hundreds like there are with these other companies, but again, this is the sign of the times. If you believe that unemployment is at 4%, you're kidding yourself. You're absolutely delusional, to say the least. You have to do what you can right now to prepare for what is coming. The banking system right now is being propped up by smoke and mirrors and a magic trick by a clown, okay? And this is being done to make it so it doesn't crash. And with that, it's going to make the crash much worse when it happens. And they use these words. The latest word is fragmentation, and they don't want they want to do what they can to protect the markets. Okay, good luck. Protect the markets right now, guys. Do everything you can to protect the markets, because banks are in real trouble. You guys, I have access to some of the stuff I have to pay for, but I've got a lot of different banking magazines and institutions and Banker and UK Banker and all these different things you guys can get. Check this out. Read this stuff. Read what they write amongst themselves, amongst their peers. They don't sit there and say everything is great, we're just going to charge more money and going to make money. How are we going to stay in business is what the sentiment is right now with the banking industry. But what you have to worry about right now is, you have to have money in the bank. You have to have an institution to pay bills. People hate it when I talk about this. Just be careful right now, because this is going to end. When it ends, it will end very quickly. Two things I want to wrap into one, and that is the consumer sentiment and the housing slump that's happening. Lennar Homes is the biggest home builder. They made more money, and they just reported more money. But what they did also report is that their unfinished houses went up almost 17%. That is the most staggering thing to think about as we enter the second half of the year. I did a video that was, how to prepare, how to set goals, how to do your New Year's resolutions, and the video just did okay, But one thing that has taken off is that the people that watch the video have written me, oh my gosh, Jen, I did all my goals. This is the point, guys. Halfway through the year, this is when you sit down and you make the decisions to see if you're being successful or not. Everything that I set forth for the first half of the year, everything is done, okay? All the contacts, the sponsor deals, the TV stuff, everything that you guys, don't even know about. The giveaway with silver took a while to get put together, and thank God for the 200,000 subscribers, but everything is done. And a lot of big things coming for the second half of the year. So how are you guys doing with your goals? I talk to a lot of my Patreons and, talk about, getting yourself out of debt, setting the goals. But man, it's simple. Write down what you got to do, short-term and long-term. Stuff you want to get done in the week, put it in the mirror, put it on the refrigerator. I'm telling you guys, it's so easy if you do this, because you just write it off, okay? One woman, have to get life insurance, and she started it for 2 months and finally got life insurance, got it off her list. So, big and small goals, guys, set them, okay? But there's so much more to cover. This is the area of Corona del Mar called Little Corona. When I was a kid, there was no staircase down here, to say the least. Okay, the staircase is nice. They built this, but the only way to get to here was traverse it through the little mountain right there that you had to climb down, and it was kind of cool, okay? Kind of fun. They've got that cave over there that people are climbing in, and, you know, kind of cool. But again, just a beautiful summer day. Summer's here. Everything, guys, right now, we're living through such precarious times right now that nobody wants to look at. And all these recessionary signs that we have, and you can doom and gloomer. Everything is based on a story, guys. Everything on these videos is based on a story. So share your thoughts on all this stuff. There's a lot more to cover. This is the Newport Harbor here. On the other side of that area right there is the surfing place called the Wedge that you see people wipe out at all the time. And kind of slow today, kind of nice, kind of peaceful, but that's just a great place to hang out. And again, I love it. I bring my internet up here and I walk up here, and it's just a beautiful place to think and get stuff done and make phone calls and do all that stuff. So there's a lot more to cover, guys. There's a few things I'm going to cover before I wrap this video up. So, remember this house, guys? $26 million. This was the one I covered 2 months ago where I said, real estate, this is it, it's finished. Well, the house still hasn't sold, but what they did do was they did a brand new photo shoot for this house, this $26 million house. Now, again, the most disturbing part about this is 26 million bucks. It's a nice house, okay? I've seen the construction, different agents that had it, and I was invited to go inside once and I didn't, and I regret it. I really do. But again, I'm walking around this $26 million house that hasn't sold yet, and now I think that current agent Mauricio Umansky, I think that he's had this thing now for, I think it's 160 days now. I think that's what he's pushing right now. So there's that. Russia is about to default on bonds for the first time in a century. Now, you know, the reason for that, they say, is they can't get access to the money because they have plenty of money because they've made a killing with oil, but they can't pay their bills right now, guys. So that's fascinating stuff. So they can't pay their bills. People aren't going to get paid. That's going to be a mess. Robert Kiyosaki steps forward again this week and says half of the world will die. 50% of all the people die because of inflation. Wow. Okay. Talking about a headline, like you guys say I use clickbait. Wow. That's clickbait. Okay. So, everybody will die. Okay. Most people don't have $1,000. Inflation is wiping everybody out. People are choosing between food and energy. People don't have money in their retirements. People that have money in their retirements are losing everything. And it's just falling apart. And you need to get into gold and silver, which I love. And he's now a big Bitcoin fan. But didn't talk about the current collapse of Bitcoin, okay? Or sell down. And again, so not going to bag on any of that. I think it's interesting. But again, here's the front door of that house. And then you got the Mauricio sign out the front. Beautiful piece of property, guys. I mean, absolutely stunning. But Dan can walk by and, you know, it's just crazy. Oh, you got a little putting green here too. Check this out, guys. $26 million and you can have a couple holes and it'd be great. One thing that we've talked a lot about is data and data protection and who has your data. There's a great story out of Japan where a city worker in Amagasaki, this guy was a city employee that had all the data for the entire city on a flash drive. The city just outside of Osaka, and 465,177 people are on this flash drive, and he was out partying with friends, and he's hungover, and he probably met some girls, and then before you know it, he said, look, I got this data thing with everybody's address on it, and showed it to him because he's probably super nerdy, but anyways, he lost that. But so again, an entire city's data, name, address, birth dates, a lot of personal information was in this guy's pocket, and he's walking around with it. So crazy that that's like that. We talked a while ago about what's going to happen with PPP problems, PPP fraud, PPP reporting. Well, guess what, guys? You can report people now and get a 30% commission from the SBA if you go and report people that committed PPP fraud. This is going to be the Wild West. Mark my words, you're going to see people report old bosses, the neighbor down the street, ex-husbands. You're going to see complete shenanigans come out of this where people are going to tell on others just for the sake of doing it and earn that 30% commission. Oh, you guys didn't collect anything? Oh, he didn't do anything wrong? Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Oh, he had an audit. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Trouble is coming, and it's going to be orchestrated by people. So you're going to see that in full force very soon. The final thing, which is awesome, is solar umbrellas were sold last year at Costco, and they were really nice. They had solar lights on it. You could light up a patio. They sold 400,000 of these at $250 a piece. It's $100 million. They just were told by the Federal Trade Commission they have to give all the money back because of fire problems with these, and they have to return them immediately to Costco. So, stories below, guys, if you bought one of these wonderful umbrellas. And if your house didn't burn down, you're lucky, okay? So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And again, what do you guys think? 26 million, okay? It can be yours, okay? It's a nice street. I mean, beautiful street, man. I'm telling you, look at this guy across the street. Look at this thing, all glass, okay? I mean, you can't have any women over at all, ever, because they're gonna know that they're there. So there's that, so you have no privacy, but beautiful, okay? So like button, subscribe button. Don't forget to join the email list. It's in the video description below. And if you want more access to me, there's Patreon. And get ready, guys. Prepare, because everything, it's like the old Ed Sullivan show with the spinning plates, guys. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon.